This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast where we take a look at the week that was in Bates Athletics. My name is Arend Morse, and each week this spring we'll be honoring the seniors of a Bates team that did not get to finish its season due to the COVID-19 pandemic. This week, we chat with the 3 senior captains from the baseball team, plus an interview with head coach Jon Martin. That's coming up on the Bates Bobcast. The Bates baseball team went 9-3 in NESCAC East play in 2019, the program's best conference record ever. The team entered 2020 with high hopes, but after 9 games, suddenly the season was over. A group of 12 Bobcats graduate from this year's senior class, including captains Will Sylvia, Jack Arend, and Nolan Collins. And those 3 joined the Bobcast to look back on their careers.
Will, let's start with you as one of the senior captains this year. It's a big senior class. What was that like to have that group through your 4 years here, and what did it mean to you to be named one of the captains this season?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Aaron. Honestly, it was a real privilege to be part of such a big class for all 4 years. We have a bunch of guys, and to see everyone grow as players and as student athletes was really great. And then, this year in particular was awesome because it didn't, the leadership didn't come down to just me, Jack, and Nolan. It was sort of spread out among the whole senior class, and we had a lot of guys to lean on in different directions. And yeah, for me personally, it was just a huge honor to be named captain. I have tons of respect for Jack and Nolan too, and it was a real privilege to be part of this whole thing.
And just a quick follow-up to that, your dad played at Bates, right? Extra special for you, can continue that legacy?
Yeah, my dad was a captain as well back in the 80s. And it's just to sort of follow in his footsteps a little bit and be a part of this program, some 40 years later almost. It's it's pretty cool. It's, I talk a lot of trash to my dad, and I think Jack came pretty close to breaking his walk record. But yeah, it's just been a huge honor to be a part of it and to have my dad there, my mom there too. They both went to Bates.
Nice.
For them to be able to watch all the games and everything, it's been awesome.
Jack, it's a personality of this class, a big group. What was it like every day, in the locker room and on the field?
It was interesting to say the least. It was always great. I mean, there's always ups and downs within any team, and you try to work through those. But I love these guys, and it's been fun to be around such a big class and have guys you can rely on, and then also with the underclassmen, there's a lot of talent there, and I know Will and Nolan feel the same way as I do, but I think we feel proud that we can leave Bates and know that the baseball program is going to be okay. They're going to be really good in the next couple of years, and that's all the credit to Coach Martin and Coach Deschler too. They have such great connections with all of us, and they really make you feel like you're at home, and they're just awesome. But yeah, in terms of the locker room, I mean, you got some characters from our careers, from Connor Speed to Justin Foley to, Justin White. There's so many different personalities, but at the end of the day, we're just trying to win ball games, and I think we did a really good job at achieving our goals of playing postseason baseball.
And then Nolan, your career arc coming in as a first year kind of got thrown into the fire a bit and really emerged as one of the top pitchers, as a sophomore there. And now you're headed to a Division I program for your extra year of eligibility. Obviously this is a kind of unfortunate circumstances around it, but your career, how did you see it kind of grow from day one to now, kind of at Bates?
I think I was lucky kind of coming into a program that had a lot of pitching leaders. If you look back, Connor Russell, Tony Telesco, those guys kind of taught me how to work and be diligent about what I'm doing and take it all seriously. And I really can't thank those guys enough because I think I really learned from them, and they helped me grow, and they sort of mentored me. Also, Alex Simon was a really big guy. and just kind of being able to learn from what they did and try to be like them on the field. And then also just like working in the weight room and working on your game outside of Bates. Like, it kind of goes to show if you spend enough time on it, you can kind of go pretty far with things. And I'm really excited about next year. Like, obviously I would have loved to finish out this year with our team and the boys, but it's an opportunity to get like more education also, and I'm just really grateful that I have the opportunity.
Yeah, and for those who don't know, tell us the school you're going to, and it's University of Richmond in the Atlantic Texas Division I school.
After a couple of days after our season got canceled, I sort of was thinking about like what I'm going to do next, that kind of thing. And then I shot Martin a text, Coach Martin, and gave him like a couple teams I was sort of interested in. And he really did most of the work. He kind of like got me in touch with some coaches. I had some phone conversations, and the family and I figured that Richmond was the best fit, academics and athletics wise. And so it happened really fast. It was pretty overwhelming at first, but it's all working out so far.
And actually, you'll be earning a master's degree there. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I'm doing a master's degree in human resource management. So it's a 3-semester program. I'll start in the fall, and I should be done like August of next year. So it gets me another year to figure out job stuff, because I'm not at the point right now where I have that all figured out. But I think it's going to be good. It opens a lot of doors and gives me an opportunity to play more baseball. So why not?
Certainly. And Jack, we were talking about this off air, but going to Nichols College for your extra year of eligibility, I understand they are scheduled to play Bates next season. So how weird will that be?
I mean, it'll be weird. Obviously, like Nolan said, we wanted to finish our season strong this year, and we had the group of guys that we thought we could make something happen with. But, you know, everything that happens, it's like Nolan said, it happens so fast that for me personally, like I broke my hand the second game of the season, and it was looking like a pretty tough recovery throughout the season that I was going to try to fight through. So personally, this gives me some time to heal up my hand and play a little summer ball if we can get that going. But no, it'll be fun. I'm excited for the opportunity. The coach at Nichols, Coach Mayo, I got my name in the transfer portal. He shot me a text, and Coach Martin and I kind of, like Nolan, we talked to a bunch of different coaches, and I figured that Nichols would be the best option just because Coach Mayo had seen me play. He was the pitching coach at Trinity our freshman and sophomore year, so he had seen me play a little bit. They were in need of a catcher, even an old one like me, so it worked out pretty well. And then I'll be able to I'll actually be able to come out of Nichols with 2 degrees, with a master's in business administration and a master's in organizational leadership, and it's a 2-year program. In the second year, I'm going to be a grad assistant coach, so I'll get school paid for and all that kind of stuff, which is really nice. And it works out perfectly because I'll be the catching coach, and I want to get into collegiate coaching like Coach Martin. So it's been kind of a crazy ride, and it seems to have worked out for me, which is awesome. But playing against Bates next year, I mean, they're probably going to get no hit. I'm just kidding. Don't tell Martin I said that.
Well, yeah, you were saying you're going to be calling the pitches, right? You know what everyone's strengths and weaknesses are, so.
Yeah. I guess at Nichols the coaches call the pitches, but I'm gonna talk to them and see what I can do to call the pitches against my former teammates, and because I know their strengths and weaknesses. I pay attention. I know what's going on.
Yeah. Certainly, and then Will, looking back on your time at Bates, what were some maybe memorable games that really stand out to you that you'll remember? You think 5-10 years down the road.
Oh man, I'm thinking of when we swept Trinity our sophomore year. We went into Trent and they were just completely dominant the whole season, and they were. I think Jack and Nolan will agree with me that they were probably more talented than we were that year.
Oh yeah.
But we just showed up and emphasize the execution of the little things in the game in the series, and our pitchers just showed up and shoved. We had timely hitting, and the energy in the dugout was like so contagious that I'll never forget it. It was, guys were jumping up and down and screaming in the dugout. I think there's a video somewhere of like, I don't even know, like Henry Pratt like throwing water up into the sky or something. I forget, but that was probably the most memorable series in game 3 was probably the most memorable game that I've thought about. I don't know. What else do you guys think? Any other memorable games out there?
For me was probably for Nolan too, but I mean a lot of my memories come from catching Nolan, which is awesome. But probably when I think it was our sophomore year when Nolan started to establish himself, he threw a complete game against Tufts at home, and that got us in the playoffs. And I remember just after that I just gave him a big hug. That was awesome. And then last year when he threw a complete game against Bowdoin, I remember, I mean, we were down 2-1. Bases loaded. I got a big hit, and we ended up taking the lead, and Nolan shoved for 9 innings, and that was awesome. That was probably one of my most favorite games ever.
Yeah, that was a great series.
Yeah, those 2 games are pretty high on the list for me. Also, just like being in the dugout and being around, like when just making the playoffs every year and just being in that environment. Even though, like, it didn't end up, like, how we wanted it, just, like, playing that high-level competitive baseball where it's, like, high stakes, like, I just love that. I live for that, like, adrenaline and just, like, being in the dugout around the guys where every out matters, every pitch matters. It's just, like, so much fun.
Yeah.
Certainly. And then, Jack, I want to touch on the fact that you mentioned you're considering going into coaching. As a catcher, I feel like it lends itself to that kind of stuff, right? I mean, what do you think you learned during your time at Bates that will allow you to make that transition when the time comes to the coaching world?
Will and I are both psych majors, and I knew coming into Bates, I actually just submitted my thesis like an hour ago, which was really awesome. But I knew coming into Bates I wanted to do something with sports, and sports has been a big part of who I am and just my life. And at first I kind of thought about maybe working in like mental skills and all that kind of stuff, and then I realized after playing summer ball with Nolan for a couple years and just being around the game and being in the dugout, like there's nothing better than that. And from the catching perspective, I mean, you see everything really. Like you're the only one with your face is facing the entire field. And from personalities of pitchers, like there's certain things that I could say to Nolan that I couldn't say to other pitchers, which it just teaches you a lot about human communication and dealing with other players. And so I think like defensively, offensively, like you have to have both that mindset of a pitcher, as a catcher, as a batter. And so yeah, like I guess this is kind of natural for me to. I mean, you've seen me play, Aaron. A lot of people have seen me play. I'm not afraid to say what I think, and sometimes good, bad, or otherwise. But at the end of the day, it comes out of me wanting to get the most out of my teammates and wanting to win. And I'm just so competitive that I want to be able to eventually, I know coaching and that's such a long process, but eventually get to the point where I can win a national championship. Like I think that would be awesome. And I know those are really high aspirations and there's a process to get there. But I think having the background of coaching or catching and even at practice, like Nolan and Will can attest to, we schedule captain's practices and you have to kind of be organized and all that kind of stuff. So we ran, I mean, for me, I was a 2-year captain, so I helped run practices and stuff for the last 2 years, and my communication with Coach Martin has been really awesome. And he's obviously been a huge mentor for me, and Coach Deschler too. Like it just seems like it's the right thing for me, and baseball is kind of that thing that I love and I want to continue. And I knew this year, once everything happened, that I felt really, it was sad because we weren't going to be able to play with everybody on the Bates team anymore. But for me personally, like I knew that I wasn't done with baseball. So that's kind of selfish of me to say, but at the same time, I knew that I have more to give to baseball.
Certainly. Let's go around the panel here in terms of kind of final thoughts you wanted to share about your time at Bates that we haven't gotten to talk about yet. Will, we can start with you.
With all the supporters and everything, I mean, it's just been a great ride. And thank you so much, Arend, for all your coverage of the games. And I remember being out in right field and hearing your commentary up on the scaffolding out there during the game.
I could hear you. I could hear you from the plate.
Yeah. I'll always remember that, and that's just a beautiful thing. And to the coaching staff and all my teammates, like this has just been a real honor the last 4 years. So even though we couldn't finish it out together, I think we'll always remember this team and what we accomplished on and off the field. So thank you.
Awesome. Yeah, Nolan, how about for you?
Yeah, kind of same deal. Just like everyone along the way, just like creating memories. We just kind of gelled really well, and I'll never forget those moments we had just like in the dugout, in the locker room, at the Palace, just with the boys just hanging out. And it's just like everyone, I mean, I'm going to miss it. Like it was, I couldn't have asked for anything better out of my experience at Bates. Yeah, Arend, thank you. Coaches, thank you. Mike Roque, thank you. All those guys. Like it's a pretty awesome experience.
And we'll make sure to follow you at Division I level there at Richmond next year. But Jack, will let you get the final word here. Any final thoughts on your end?
Yeah, I mean, very similar to Will and Nolan. I mean, they kind of said it. Like, thank you to everybody around campus, your friends, your teammates, your professors that really they care about you, and it's awesome to see that they want to see you succeed on the field in the classroom, and especially like our coaches. I think two people that don't get enough credit are like the team managers. I remember last year Bennett Waddles was huge. Jake Bard has been huge. Patrick Commerce, he's been there for 4 years with us, and he's really been kind of the glue for us. And people don't really see those behind the scenes kind of people, and they mean a lot to the program, and they make everything run smoothly. And then also to big shout out and thank you to Jason, Celine, Jess. They're doing a great job. I know there's been a lot of working parts over the last couple of years, and they're working really hard to make Bates a place that student athletes want to be at. And I think in the near future we're going to be even more proud to say that we're a Bates alum and we were part of the baseball program.
Bates baseball head coach Jon Martin's first season at Bates was 2017, the same as this year's senior class.
Happy to be joined on the phone by Jon Martin, the head coach of the Bates baseball team here on the Bobcast, saluting our seniors for the baseball program. And Coach Martin, you're in an interesting spot just because these seniors, and it's a big class, they were first years. Your first year as the head coach of the Bobcats. So what's it been like through these years growing with them in the program?
This class is very special to me. They always will be. They were my first class, like you just said, that were first years when I came in to take the position here. They've been a winning class. They've been a fun class. We've had a lot of good times with these guys. They're large in number. They've been a cornerstone and a foundation for me, moving this program forward year to year, since I've been here. And I've been very, very fortunate to coach these guys and, watch them kind of develop over the last 4 years and now to see them take kind of the next step into what they're going to pursue with their careers and their lives is really a special thing. So, this class means a lot to me. It's really unfortunate what has happened, but obviously we all see that it was necessary.
Certainly, and we'll go through the class here. In numerical order, number 4, Jack Arend, switch-hitting catcher. What a career he had, obviously, as a junior. He was NESCAC Co-Defensive Player of the Year, first-team All-Conference twice during his time at Bates. Battled some injuries this season before the season got cut short. I understand he will be continuing his career in a grad year outside of Bates. But Jack Arend, I mean, it must have been nice coming in knowing you had your starting catcher locked in, it seems like, because he contributed right away a few years back.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. I mean, Jack's the best catcher I've ever coached, hands down. And he's ultimate competitor. He's a true ball player. First class on the field, works hard. Was no doubt a 2-year captain choice for me. True switch hitter, can really do it from both sides of the plate, which you don't see much of. And he just kind of runs the show on the field. It's been easy on me to have him back there and to have a catcher of his caliber back there for my first 4 years here. And he is going on to play. He is headed to Nichols College to continue another year, and he's he wants to get into coaching, so he'll also pursue his master's degree there, which is pretty amazing. It's good stuff.
Awesome. And then number 6, Jon Lindgren, a 2-sport athlete here at Bates, a captain on the football team, a strong leader for the baseball team as well. Obviously, got a lot of playing time sophomore and junior year. What can you say about Jon Lindgren out there in left field for you guys these past couple of seasons?
Yeah, great athlete. Loves to compete, loves the game, had the ability to play 2 sports and be an everyday contributor in both sports. That's something that I think is pretty impressive. True character. I mean, he keeps it loose. He's fun to be around. Good energy for us, definitely. Big impact player for us.
Had beaten number 10. He last year, another outfielder for you guys, but he hit .314 last season in 29 games. So it seems like he was really coming to his own entering this year. A much improved player for maybe a tough sophomore season. What do you see from him in terms of his improvement during his time at Bates?
Yeah, Beats made some big jumps for us from his first year on, and last year, like you said, had a great year. We kind of used him. We did a little platooning in some spots in the outfield, and he accepted it. He did fine. I think he would have loved to play every single day and every single inning, but we had certain matchups that we had to stick with, and when he came in, he did a great job. He could pinch run, he can pinch hit, he can play defensive in the outfield. He's a very athletic player, and the foot speed is a big thing. Yeah, Beats is a good player, man. He was definitely a big piece to our success over the last 3 years.
Number 15, Kyle Carter, kind of started out. He's been on the left side of the infield his whole time, but I think started out playing some third base, but you eventually moved him to shortstop, and then Gio Torres, of course, got locked in at third. But Kyle Carter out of Florida, a guy who was off to a pretty good start this year, 3 for his first 8 at the plate before the season got cut short. Really good defensive player, it seemed like. He was reliable on that left side of the infield along with Gio, right?
Yeah, slick fielding, infielder, smooth, consistent. Could put him at third, could put him at short, could put him at second. You can do anything with him. Quiet, goes about his business, knows his routine. Loves to play, adapted well coming from Florida to the cold weather. And, it was just a joy to coach and a great guy to have on the field.
Will Sylvia, one of your captains, what made him such a strong leader? Obviously, his dad, I believe, played at Bates, and so he has that legacy as well. And he's a guy who contributed right away the first year and then was a captain this season. What about Will Sylvia made him such a strong leader to join Nolan Collins and Jack Arend as one of the 3 captains?
Will's kind of a quiet leader, lead by example. He's not, the loudest voice, and that's fine because I think everybody knows that if you just watch how he goes about his business and how he prepares and how he focuses on the task at hand, and especially during the game, you can learn a lot on how to play this game. He's a smart player. He's well respected. I don't think there's any doubt that he'll be very successful in whatever he chooses to do.
And then relief pitcher, number 29, Miles Shaw. He 33 appearances during his time at Bates, and he was a guy who always, it seemed like, was entering the game in like the 7th or 8th when it was really, in a sticky situation, down to the wire, high pressure situations. but you were confident going to him, 33 times during his career. What about him made him an effective reliever for you guys?
Miles has a very strong arm and throws with velocity. Good slider. Definitely, tall, kind of slender fella, and a good clean arm action. And I always thought a fastball slider combo with him coming out of the bullpen was a good combination for us coming after some of the guys, especially like us, coming in around Shapiro to give it a different look when we had Jake Shapiro here.
Right.
And Miles has such a temperament of just ice water in his veins and locked in and no emotion and poker face the whole time. And I love that. And you need that in a guy that's going to throw in pressure spots late in the game. And Miles definitely had that.
Well, speaking of pressure spots, whenever you needed a win, Nolan Collins was there for you, an ace pitcher, number 30, right-hander. He made 24 starts in his career. He won 11 games, career ERA 3.5. And after his first year where he was kind of getting adjusted to college ball, he was pretty much dominant, 2.75 ERA as a sophomore. First team All-NESCAC last year with a 3.10 ERA. Was off to a solid start this season. And I understand he's going to be playing some more baseball as well, right?
He is. Nolan, true competitor, great pitcher, throws hard, has a repertoire of pitches, can literally throw 4 pitches for strikes. Just a bulldog, the guy you want in the big game. He likes to pitch in the big game. He likes to pitch when the lights are a little bit brighter, and I'm on board with that. You want guys like that on your team, and played summer ball every year. Loved baseball and still gonna compete, and he's gonna go to the University of Richmond and play, and he's gonna be a great addition to that staff there, and I think it's a great fit for a lot of reasons, and excited for him.
Ryan Moralejo was off to a really strong start this year as a senior, 5 2/3 innings, only 1 run that was earned allowed. To his first couple of appearances, left-handed pitcher. And, again, he's a guy who, we've talked about this, how it's such a big roster where maybe you won't get that many chances, but he seems to have really taken advantage of the opportunities he got these past couple of seasons, didn't he?
Yeah, for sure. Rhino's he's your left-handed strike-throwing pitcher out of the bullpen. Can come in and change the pace a little bit and be a bridge guy for you, serve that role. He accepted that role. He's a great teammate. He worked hard. We had some depth, I think, early on when I first took over on the front end. There's some guys that were just performing pretty consistently, and he handled his business with class and did exactly what we needed him to do. And I was expecting a big year out of him. We were using him pretty regularly here in the first part of 2020, but unfortunately things happened and he didn't get those innings. But team player, great to have around. Smart guy, knows baseball well. He'll do well.
And then Will Slane got a win this year in 3 appearances. And, again, not too many opportunities. He had 13 career appearances for you guys, but he stuck with the program. And actually his career ERA just a tick over 4, so he ended up being, a pretty effective guy when he got the chance, right?
Yep, strike thrower again, bullpen pitcher, fun guy to be around, very witty. We tinkered a little bit with it over the last year or so, or 8 months or so of dropping his arm slot down. It became pretty effective. Another guy I was, as a senior, was going to use a lot this year. Was expecting a big year for him. It was a great team player. Stuck it out, and accepted his role. And when he did come in, he did a great job for us. Yeah, Will's got a good work ethic. He'll be fine once he gets out of here and chooses a career path.
And then Mark Russell, a couple of NESCAC spring all-academic selections for him, so shined in the classroom, made a couple appearances this year. I remember he got a start last season and worked a hitless inning, if I recall, though he had to get out of a bit of a jam. But what do you say about Mark Russell and what he provided?
Yeah, the Shark. Awesome guy, awesome worker, relentless, sets his mind to something and doesn't let anything get in his way. He's obviously a great student, works very hard in the classroom. He's motivated. He's a really impressive individual. I'll tell you that. Mark is a first-class guy. He is all business. There's no frills. There's no window dressing with this guy. It's what you see is what you get. And his work ethic is, like I said, is outstanding. And over the years, he started picking up some velocity, and his curveball got a little tighter. And yeah, man, he earned those those innings in that start. And he was another guy that came in this year, one of our last games of the year against Nichols, and came in and was pounding the zone with his fastball and getting his breaking ball over and got about 8 or 9 outs in a row for us out of the bullpen, which we needed in an extra inning game. So, yeah, Mark is a great one, and he will be very, very successful also.
Cam Carlson, a guy who I think pretty creative. He's a blogger for Nothing But NESCAC, the blog, or writing about NESCAC sports. He wants to go into communications. I know he's reached out to us, but what can you say about Cam Carlson and his impact on the team?
Cam, you're right. Cam, he's a big time sports guy. Loves to write. Loves blogging. The Nothing But NESCAC. I'm sure you've kind of checked that out a little bit. It's definitely, I read it. I mean, it's definitely interesting to hear their take on some things. Very intelligent, smart baseball player. Understood his skill set, that he was a bullpen pitcher, that we needed him to come in and bridge it to the next guy and get 3 to 6 outs. Good clubhouse guy, always kind of, the witty one, in the middle of the conversation about sports or on the bus or something like that. And Cam is great personality, good to have around. Another one that in this class that we're going to miss when he's gone.
And then last but certainly not least, Gio Torres. Because Michael wrote through the games with me, I'm very much aware he's a sociology major. He's also very good at third base. A spring all-academic type guy again, and he was off to a really hot start with the bat this year also, which must have been nice to see, and also obviously extra frustrating the season ended early because he was 8 for his first 22 with his first collegiate home run as well.
Yeah, G's just a ball player. I mean, he shows up every day and is ready to go, and is no nonsense, and is ultra competitive. Very good defensive player. It was great to see his bat kind of light up early this year. We were hoping that would carry on through the last 75% of the season. You can put him anywhere in the field, and he can do it well. He's athletic. Just a great asset to have to your team, just because he's that kind of gritty ball player that's never scared to dive in the mud after a ball. He's just that kind of player. He's another one. Yeah, we will definitely miss G on the field once he leaves.
Team manager all 4 years, Pat Commerce, a senior. Tell us about what he meant to the program.
Yeah, Pat was a huge addition to our team and our program as a team manager. Did a great job, very organized. Did his job extremely well. Tons of respect from our guys and obviously from our coaching staff. I mean, it was a big part of us, our travel plans, our meal prep, our meal plans, helping us with just database work and, keeping schedules organized and game day operations. I mean, he did a lot, and we can't thank him enough because he was definitely a big piece of our success over the last 4 years.
Certainly. Well, Coach, obviously this season ended after 9 games for the baseball team. It did end on a high note with a win over Endicott in that doubleheader 9-3, but obviously there was a lot of season, unfortunately, not left to be played in the end. But, I mean, when you found out about this, what did you say to the seniors? What did you say to the team about, I mean, I know it's tough for you to process as well, but, I mean, has the team continued to have conversations, throughout the spring and whatnot as well?
We had kind of a tough start, obviously, with hardly any practice, and then we go down to Florida to play, and then we come back and it's like snow, and then we start to kind of play games again 2 weeks later. So it was broken up, and it was a tough schedule at the beginning. But I'll tell you what, this team, we've got a lot of talent, and we're very talented, we're very athletic, we're very physical. We have a lot of just pure strength on this team, and guys that can do a lot of athletic things. It hadn't come together, but it was starting to come together. One thing about this team is the chemistry here, the friendships that these guys have made, the trust that these guys have with each other. Like, it's a pretty special thing, and that's not even anything that I've even had to work on. It's just natural. It's just kind of happened. And I think that next year we're going to come back strong. I think we're going to be we have a great first-year class coming in. We've got some great guys returning, and I expect us to compete again. Right now, we're just kind of staying in touch, and I've been working with our upcoming senior class, the class of 2021, on some things. We're going to do some team Zoom here soon with a couple guest speakers to kind of keep the guys in baseball mindset. And, we're hoping that this thing passes over and we can all get back out on the field and get back to our normal lives. But it's been tough. It's been a tough road. It hasn't been easy. But I think that hopefully we're starting to see some light shine a little bit, and we can all start to work to get back outside soon enough.
Next time on the Bates Bobcast, we'll salute our seniors from the softball team, which saw a strong season opening trip to Florida cut short. That's next time on the Bates Bobcast.